Boys and girls, hello and welcome back to Fundations. We are in Unit 6, and today we're going to go back and talk a little bit about the two sounds of S. Actually, S can do other things as well, but when it's by itself, it can make two different sounds. Okay, but before we get back into that, let's practice the first three trick words that we have for this unit. We'll add more soon. Okay, the first one is house. House. They live in a beautiful purple house. House. Okay, here it is. Your next one is only. Only. I only had a potato chip for breakfast. That's why I'm hungry. Only. Okay, and here it is. And your last one for now is move. Move. When I saw the tarantula, I was so scared I couldn't move. Okay, and here it is. Have you learned these three? Okay, I think next time we'll add the next group. And here we go. So if you watched the last video, you'll remember that I showed you lots of slides that look like this. A vowel and then a consonant. Okay, that's the V and the underscore. And then, of course, that busy E. And we talked about how became ohm and on became own. And we did a lot of these, but there was something we didn't do. So we didn't talk about S. What happens to S in a V underscore E syllable when we have a vowel, the S, and then that E? Well, let's go back. This letter makes two sounds. What are they? Do you remember? I know it's been a little while since we've talked about it, but the S makes a S, like the S that we learned a very long time ago, and Z, like the Z. Okay, so it's a little difficult to know when it makes a S sound and when it makes a Z sound. It could be an S when it's like salad or grass or so or say or mist and last. But it also makes a Z sound. Now, S is usually S when it's in the beginning or when it's in a blend. But now let's look at this. We have is, has, says, his. Now, says, be careful because that one starts with an S, with an S sound, but it ends with a Z sound. So it's a little tricky. Usually when S is in a one-syllable word, when it's after a vowel, many times it could have a Z sound. S can also sound like a Z when it comes between two vowels, okay, which is what we're talking about here in this unit. So let's take a look at some examples of how S sounds like a Z. We've got rise, nose, rose, close. See how we've got the S in between two vowels? Okay, and in all of those cases, it sounds like a Z. Here's some more. We've got these and those and sunrise and use. Now we have to be careful because this is not always true. Sometimes if you hear a Z, it could really be a Z. Okay, that's a little confusing, like frozen. Oh, that looks cold. Okay, or maze, or blaze. Okay, so in these cases, we hear a Z sound and it really is a Z. So we have to be careful sometimes. We have to kind of get comfortable with the spelling of the word. And then there are some weird cases where a word could have both pronunciations. So for example, if you do something like this is use. Like I like to use a computer, but somebody might also say, oh, what's the use of doing that? See that? That's a little confusing too. So the more we read, the more we practice, the better we'll be able to find the difference between S as an S sound and when it makes a Z sound and when we really have a Z. Oh, it's so confusing. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so now let's see if you can spell these. And remember, we're working with V underscore E syllables. Okay? And the only other piece of advice I can give you is listen to the base word. Your first one is rose. Rose. And that's your base word, rose. Like I gave my mother a rose for Mother's Day. Okay, here it is. Okay, your next one is cases. She ordered 16 cases of paper. Cases. Your base word is case. Okay, let's have a look at it. Okay, so tricky because the first S is really an S, and the second S sounds like a Z. Make sure you're writing all of these twice. Your third word is names. Names. I know the names of all of my students. Names. And your base word is name. Okay, let's have a look at it. Your next one is rises. Rises. The sun always rises in the morning. Rises. And your base word is rise. Okay, here it is. Your fifth word is bite. Bite. I wasn't very hungry, but I did take a bite of pizza. Bite. All right, let's have a look at it. Okay, and your last word is cubes. Cubes. I love playing with cubes and building things with them. And your base word is cube. All right, and let me show you that word. Okay, and make sure you have all of these written down twice. And you know, when I think of cubes, I really get excited because I start thinking about math again and science. I love math and science. Of course, spelling and reading and all of those things are great also. But I can't wait till we start talking about shapes and solids. Okay, boys and girls, that's it for today. I hope you had a good lesson and hope you're having a great day. The end.